So I get the honor today of helping you, coaching you, and helping you decide what you're going to focus on today. So a couple little things. First of all, as your coach, I want to know what you're doing with your phone now that it got turned back on. So consider turning it back off so that you can focus on yourself, or at least vibrate and turn to over, because it does divide our attention. So nobody's going to die if your phone rings. It's not about that. It's really about you being able to hone in and focus on yourself. Okay, so a couple things. One, your black book is a perfect productivity tool for today because you're going to get a lot of ideas and you're going to get a lot of to-dos that pop up in your head. And so I want you to create a page right now that says to-do. That way you do not have to fire up your phone when you think of, oh no, I forgot to tell so-and-so to meet my child at the bus stop. So am I too echoey? Do I need to lower this? Am I good? I'm good. Okay. So make a little to-do. And then what I want you to do is just set everything down for a moment. And everyone needs a little piece of paper that is on your table.
That's okay. God gave me a microphone. Okay, so place the little piece of paper in front of you and a pen. And I want you to just kind of close your eyes for a second. Now you'll get to the piece of paper in a minute. Just close your eyes for a second. And just sort of let all this sort of excitement and energy and all the things that you're not doing today so that you can do this just float out the front door. And feel your butt in your seat. And then notice your breath. Just take a deep breath and notice your breath. And when you open your eyes, I want you to write 2 words on that piece of paper. And those 2 words are, I want. Now, before you write anything else, think about one thing that you want to draw into your life.
Am I going with this? Think about one thing that you want to draw into your life. Either attract it or shift it or fix it that would have a positive impact on your life. So this is a private exercise that we're going to do for 30 seconds. So I want... and then fill the rest in. What one thing do you want to shift or attract into your life? And it's okay to put down what you really, really want. So once you finish that sentence, just write yourself a little note about why that would be a good idea for you to have that. This would be good for me because. That writing, that's good. So when you're done, fold that up and just put it somewhere where you can get to it a little bit later. So now I want you to give some thought to your current home, work, whole program setup. Think about what it takes for you to run your life currently as it is. what kind of energy it takes, what kind of sleep you're getting or not getting. Just think about your entire program right now. Age and stage, current program. And then fast forward 5 years. So the question I have for you is, do you have a sustainable model? Can you sustain your program for the next 5 years? Now, for some of you, the answer is, yeah. You know, I could lose a little weight, I could eat a little better, but for the most part, I can do this. This is working. I finally have it where I want it. So how many of you are a yes? And were you always that way? No. You got there. And how many of you are a no? Okay, good. Good. It's important to know if you have a sustainable model or not. An unsustainable model causes stress. And when we have stress, it changes who we are. And that's the bad news, because then we are stressed out and we're making decisions from a place of stress. We're actually in the reptilian center of the brain when we're super stressed out. You do not want to be making decisions from that part of your brain. And when we're stressed out, and you know this about yourself, not only are you not yourself, but you're seeing things differently, and you're seeing different things. And so the options from your perspective have narrowed significantly. So one of the things that we're going to look at today that I do in my coaching practice is to help people figure out what category of their life their stress is really coming from. Lots of times people come to me, I hate my career, I hate my career, I hate my career. But how do you feel about your body? How do you feel about your relationships? How do you feel, how well are you taking care of yourself? How do you feel about your future? All of those things impact. If you are great on all of those other levels and you want to change career, now you're going to be making a decision from a centered, real place. But when we're stressed out in multiple categories, we can't really tell where's the bleeding, right? And so we tend to make decisions from a stressed out place. So we have a little mini assessment today, and you have it there in your handouts. So before you do anything, write your name on the little assessment. They're going to be started and I can put it back on. Okay, so write your name on the top of this assessment. Now today, I'm going to help you get used to working very swiftly, to accessing your subconscious and your most resourceful thoughts in a swift manner. So you have some life categories there, and go ahead and just give yourself a rating, a snapshot of where your life is currently. And so you'll give yourself a 7 if you are rocking it in that area. So we'll start with self-confidence. Now, notice that a 4 is not like the midway point. A 4 is still settling for less. So don't cheat and just go to right down the middle. I know my species. And a 1 is, I'm in crisis mode in this category. So just take less than a few minutes and whip through that, and then we're going to score it. Okay, I'm ready to be mic'd. Oh, I love these overachievers are done. Okay, if you're still working, just quickly finish. If you're not, then flip it over and score your assessment. So, for example, if optimism about the future, if you pick your 4 highest and your 4 lowest that you're the most interested in looking at. And so if optimism for the future, if you scored a 7, put that in your highest, put the word optimism and a 7, and then pick 3 others. Any questions about the scoring? Did that make sense? Yeah, so pick your 4 highest, so your 7s and 6s, pick 4 of those, and then your 4 lowest, or 4 of your lowest. Okay, so now you're going to pick a partner. So the first thing you're going to do with your partner is turn toward each other. So let's get all the chair noises out of the way, and then look back up here. So you need a partner that you're facing. Does anybody need a partner? Raise your hand if you need a partner, and some fabulous woman will come to you. Perfect. Yay. Okay. Now, does everybody have a partner? Okay. So, there are some rules. You're going to discuss your scores with your neighbor, but there are some rules. So one of you is going to be the talker, and one of you is going to be the listener. And I will leave these instructions up there because it's very contrary to our culture, what I'm going to have you do. Okay, so first of all, if you're the talker, you're only going to talk about your high scores and how you got that way. At no point are you going to say, yeah, I scored really high in health because I've been taking great care of myself and I hired a nutritionist and I'm doing great and I lost 100 pounds. But my real problem is work or whatever. At no point are you going to do that. You are going to talk for an extended period of time about your high scores and how you got that way. We're never going to switch gears and talk about why you stink. It's not going to happen. Okay? So when you're the talker, ramble. Because what happens, this is why coaches get the big bucks. Because we let people talk. When you ramble, first all that conscious stuff comes out, and then as you're allowed to actually hear your own thoughts for a few seconds, insights come. And so that is your job, is to just ramble and chatter on. Now, if you're the listener, your job is to block out all of the noise that you're going to hear in this room and focus on the woman in front of you and make eye contact with her and listen. You don't have to encourage, you don't have to brainstorm, you don't have to coach, you don't have to make an action list, nothing. Just listen. If you don't understand something, you can ask a clarifying question, but otherwise don't ask questions that imply a certain answer or direction. You don't have to do that either. You just have to listen and block out everybody but her. Questions about the assignment? So I'm going to tell you when it's time to change. So you're going to talk longer than you think, and you're going to listen longer than you think. Okay? So go. Okay, so we just did one right now, right? Okay, will anybody share an insight about being able to talk? Anybody have an insight to share? How weird was that? Yes. Yes. But, yes, it's very, very hard not to talk about our weaknesses, about what we're going to work on. And this happens in coaching conversations all the time. We have to sort of autocorrect with our clients to say, what's working well? Where were you resourceful? Where do you want to move forward? Because we become obsessed with that, with how it happened. This is why, because how I was raised, how I always do this, I can never sleep. You know, that we do it. We all do it. And it keeps us stuck. And so why would I have you focus on how you got those 4 areas moved forward? To retrain our brain, exactly. That's right on. It trains our brain how to apply the same level of resourcefulness to the other areas, even areas that we've struggled with forever, even the area on your piece of paper. Okay, so now it's time to switch roles, and the talker gets to become the listener, and the listener gets to become the talker. Okay, go. Okay. So how unusual was it to be a listener? You all did really well. I saw some fantastic listening. When I went to coaching school, because I was a speaker and then a consultant, and then I coached for many years before I got certified. And when I went to coaching school, they pretty much had to beat me senseless to stop being engaging. Because I would say, well, what do you want to do about that? How does that feel? What are you thinking? What are you doing? You know, and they were like, shut up, shut it. And I had to learn that in so many different ways. And it is a powerful, powerful skill. And do you notice, and you will notice now in your everyday life, how very little we listen to each other. And how very little we receive or provide undivided attention. And especially women. We're so engaging, and we sit down with our friends and we problem solve. And sometimes we just need to listen. Sometimes the most powerful thing that we can do for ourselves, for our coworkers, is to just listen. Okay, so one of the ways to sort of look at what you've done here in this assessment and to help it serve you for the rest of the day is to really think about your formula. So what happens is that we have this sort of great little formula that's working. You know, we know what to eat that makes our body perfect. We know, it's just this formula works. How much work, how much brain power, and then things happen. We have children, or change jobs, or get married, or get divorced, or something happens and it jacks our formula. And so that is one of the key reasons that it's not helpful to look back, because otherwise we struggle with, why can't it just be how it was? So much more helpful to say, there's been change, and I haven't changed my formula. I'm trying the same equation, and all the variables have changed, or one big variable has changed. And so as you think about today and where you want to make some enhancements and where you want to congratulate yourself, really think about your formula. So I'd like you to take just 2 minutes now and open your black book and write yourself a note about your insights from doing this assessment. And start with something like, I'm very proud of, I'm very glad that. And then you can get a little into what you would like to work on, but be gentle with yourself. Write yourself a note. You've got 2 minutes. Keep going. If you can get a full page, that's perfect. You have about 30 more seconds. Okay. So now you can set your black book down. And I hope that throughout the day, that you will reference yourself that way. That when you get an idea, you'll write yourself a note. The reason this would be a good idea for me is, I would like to see myself shift in this way. Start being as kind and gentle to yourself in the change that you want to make, that you are to your kids, your siblings, your best friends, the people that you love in your life. You deserve at least the same kindness that you offer them. Okay, so now take your little piece of paper that you wrote earlier. And again, close your eyes. Just take a deep breath. Let any stress or conflicting thoughts just sort of float right out that front door. And just notice your breath. Notice yourself in your body. And then in your mind's eye, see yourself stepping into that state that you have on that little card. That you are there. That this aspect has shifted for you. And notice your eyes. As you look at yourself in that state, that positive thing that can impact your entire life in a positive way is yours, and you are living it fully and completely. And in your mind's eye, notice how you notice that it's such a good thing for you. And notice how different you stand, and notice what is different about you now that you have shifted that. And then just take one more second to memorize that. And then you can come back. I thank you for your time and attention.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was so fun. I just love closing my eyes for 30 seconds. That works for me too, right? It's amazing what you could do as a mom, how you can get a quick little cat nap in 30 seconds, huh?